The movie opens up at night in the residence of the wealthy Conroy family, where a mysterious man can be seen keeping an eye on them. At the same time, a little girl, Ella, hears a bang, wakes up from her sleep, and notices that the door of her room is open. She closes the door and goes back to sleep. Suddenly, the mysterious old man appears beside her bed, making her afraid. He says that he is here to tell her something about the sin of her father, Theo Conroy. Right then, Ella wakes up, thinking that it is a nightmare, but the old man approaches her and lifts her by her neck. He tells her that he knows a lot of secrets about her father. At the same time, Theo wakes up from his sleep and seems afraid, as if he had a nightmare. He goes to the washroom, looks in the mirror, and returns to bed, but not before taking a kind of pill. In the next scene, Theo visits his wife, Sasana's workplace, where she is shooting for a movie scene. Sadly, when he tries to meet her, the employee guarding the place refuses to let him enter the set and also mistakes him for Sasana's father. To Theo's dismay, Sasana is currently filming a bold scene, and he can hear clearly her moaning and getting into the act. Later, after the shoot is completed, Sasana apologizes to Theo for the trouble and promises to put his name on the approved visitors list from her next schedule. She then seduces him, and the two end up having an enjoyable moment in his car. The couple also decides to go away for a family vacation and enjoy it before Sasana gets busy with her acting schedule. Out of nowhere, we are shown a booking website where a building similar to what the couple is looking for turns booked from the state of not available. The following day, the Conroy family leaves to spend their vacation in Wales. They soon arrive at their destination, a huge mansion lying in a secluded area. However, while wandering around the place, Sasana discovers that there's no network, making her sad. Later at night, as Ella is drawing on the wall, a shadow suddenly appears, startling her. Her father soon arrives and asks her to go to sleep. Ella tries to inform him about the shadow, but he ignores her and simply turns off the lights. He then talks to Sasana and requests her to contact the house owner, Stettler, and inform him about the problem with the thermostat downstairs. Surprisingly, he notices Ella listening to their conversation, and when he calls her out, she rushes towards her room and pretends to sleep. Afterward, Sasana prepares to watch a movie series, and before that, Theo walks out to turn off all the lights in the house. He turns off the other lights but fails to find the switch of a specific lamp situated in the living room. He then notices light coming from a room in the hallway. Upon entering the room, he finds that it is actually from a table lamp in the office. After turning it off, Theo also notices a separate room and later finds it to be the laundry room with a Polaroid photo pasted on the wall. Theo takes a closer look at the photo but fails to figure it out as it is not clear. Theo then closes the office door after turning all the light switches off. But unbeknownst to him, the study lamp switches back on by itself. Following this, Theo returns to the bedroom and finds Sasana in deep sleep. He is surprised to see how fast she fell asleep and tries to wake her up. But she refuses to get up and asks where has he been all this while. Hearing this, Theo also removes his clothes and goes to bed. Right then, the camera focuses on the table clock, and we get to know that Theo was gone for 5 hours. The next morning, he wakes up after having a nightmare and finds a note kept on the table. In the note, Sasana states that she and Ella are out for a walk. Theo freshens up and starts meditating and writing his negative feelings in a journal. The scene then shifts to Sasana and Ella roaming around the beautiful green forest. During this time, Ella asks Sasana why everyone hates her father. At first, Sasana hesitates to answer the question but later tells Ella that her father was married to another woman named Caroline before she met him. She also reveals that one day Caroline was found dead in her bathtub after consuming a lot of pills, and Theo was accused of murdering her. Hearing this, Ella inquires if her father can really kill a person. Sasana replies that the accusation is false and her father is innocent. In the meantime, Theo goes out shopping in the nearby store. He gets pissed by the slow pace and unclear accent of the shop owner. The owner inquires if he's staying at the house of Stettler, and when Theo confirms it, he does not give him change and instead provides him with a right-angle scale to measure the house. Upon arriving home, Theo becomes enraged when he learns that Sasana has told Ella everything about his previous wife. He criticizes her for the act because he has been waiting for the appropriate time to speak with Ella about it. Later, While Susanna is taking a bath, Theo secretly checks all of her devices like her mobile phone, her iPad, and her laptop. He does not find any proof of her talking to another guy or betraying him. Regretting his actions, Theo then apologizes to Susanna and the couple goes to sleep. At midnight, he suddenly wakes up and leaves his room. He visits the office room and resumes his meditation sessions. Unfortunately, when he tries to concentrate, he has negative thoughts and hears a loud bang. He turns behind and notices a mysterious door right between the bookshelf, which was not there before. Theo opens the door and walks through it to find the stairs. He climbs down and reaches an abandoned basement. A flash appears and the scene seems like the Polaroid photo that Theo discovered in the laundry room earlier. Inside one of the rooms, he finds other Polaroid photos lying on the floor. He picks one of them and is surprised to see him and Ella in the picture. Afraid, he walks forward and finds Ella unconscious and drenched in water. It seems like she has drowned and died. Seeing all this, Theo believes that it is a nightmare and injures himself with the broken glass, forcing himself to wake up. Suddenly, Theo wakes up and finds Susanna brushing her teeth. He inquires with her and gets to know that she too had a nightmare. Both of them believe that there is something wrong with the house and decide to leave as soon as possible. Before departing, Ella wants to play outside with Susanna. Seeing the mother-daughter play, Theo becomes happy and messages Susanna, stating their cuteness. Outside, she pulls out her mobile phone and reads the message. But sadly, a phone vibrates inside the house with Theo's message displaying on the screen. Here, Theo gets to know that Susanna is betraying him and has been carrying 2 mobile phones throughout this time. Enraged, he confronts her and Susanna also confesses her love affair with her colleague, Max. Theo then berates her for breaking the rules and calls her unfaithful. They then get into a heated argument, and Theo urges Susanna to go away for the night while he spends some time alone with Ella. Reluctantly, she drives off and cries in the middle of the road. After she leaves, Theo goes back to his journal and discovers that someone has added "You should have left. It's too late now." In the next scene, Theo and Ella begin to pick up on odd occurrences around the house. He notices that the water spilled by Ella is flowing to particularly 2 different spots on the floor. Using the ruler the shop owner provided before, Theo measures the orientation of the kitchen's wall and finds it to be somewhat oblique. He then starts measuring the width of the kitchen and finds that the kitchen is bigger inside than out, leaving him perplexed. At the same time, Ella rushes inside to fetch her coat but vanishes when she tries to get back to Theo. Surprised, he goes inside the house and searches for her since he believes that she is playing. But when he doesn't find her, he panics and arrives in the house. On the other hand, Ella enters a room and notices a woman lying in an overflowing bathtub. When the woman suddenly moves, Ella gets frightened and bumps into the mysterious old man from the beginning of the movie. He tells her to stay closer to her father and scares her away. Luckily, after Theo breaks one of the locked doors of the hallway, he finds Ella crying at the stairs. With this bad experience, he decides to leave the house, but when he attempts to call Susanna, her phone appears to be out of reach. Theo then tries to call the nearby shop owner to get the information about booking a cab. The shopkeeper answers and informs him that there are no cabs nearby. He then begins telling Theo that a devil resides in the house and that he is collecting souls there. With no options left, Theo decides to walk away from the house and asks Ella to get ready. As they depart, they notice a man's shadow, watching them from the window. Afraid, Theo carries Ella and heads into the dark forest. Unfortunately, after walking for a fair bit of time, he realizes that they are walking in a loop and arrives in front of the same house. As it is freezing cold outside, Theo is compelled to take Ella inside the house and wait for Susanna to arrive. While they wait, both of them fall asleep. After some time, Theo is woken up by a flash of light. He then hears the water flowing in the bathtub. He walks towards the bathroom, and when he tries to turn the tap off, the door of the bathroom closes behind him. Surprisingly, when he opens the door, he finds himself in a dark room with an old bathtub. All of a sudden, Theo is attacked by a strange. He disappears as soon as he tries to fight her back. Theo then walks out of the room and reaches the hallway. He shockingly finds himself writing in his own journal, suggesting he leave the house. Following this, Theo somehow manages to climb upstairs and meets the mysterious old man, who introduces himself as Stettler. Theo requests Stettler to let him and his daughter leave the house, but Stettler takes Theo's form and reveals to him that his family is trapped here because of his sin. Hearing this, Theo sits for a while and mentions that he cannot do it. Stettler approaches him and tells him that he needs to do it at any cost or else he will never meet his daughter. Compelled, Theo agrees and Stettler lets him unite with Ella. Carrying Ella, Theo walks out of the house and meets Susanna. He places Ella in the car and kisses her on the forehead. Theo then tells Susanna the truth about what transpired with his first wife. He confesses that although he didn't murder her, but he watched her as she passed out and drowned in the bathtub as their relationship wasn't going smoothly, and he was furious with her. He mentions that he decided to stand by while she passed away rather than end the relationship. At last, he acknowledges that he owns the place, and it is revealed that the shadow that Theo and Ella saw at night was actually his own. This means that his spirit has been wandering around the house. The movie ends with the property booking website, making the house available for booking. The movie gives us a good moral that if you sin, you are bound to pay for it sooner rather than later. In this instance, Theo was responsible for his ex-wife's death, and he ultimately got the punishment for it.